those select few that are already initiated, you should already know what this is. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. See, we're gonna get down to the other stuff here in a minute.
Listen, Jeff. Look at it.
But before we do anything else, just vibe. Vibe. What's cracking with you? Make sure y'all hit that like button as you come in my front door. Sunny Moon. How you doing? Hey, it's the Astro Girl Quay. Cassiopeia. Yeah. We in this thing. Young Ra. Young Ra, what do you know about the law of one? If you don't know nothing about it, you need to find out about it. It has a lot of emphasis with the name Ra. Yo. We're gonna take just a few minutes to let a few more people trickle in. And you already know the drill after that. Then we gonna get down to the nitty gritty. And tonight the nitty gritty is just gonna consist of me going through the transits that are popping off. And then me taking a few minutes to talk about the aspects that might be affecting you. Yeah. Then after that, we're gonna open the floor up. We're gonna vibe on the late night hype for a whole minute, man. Vibe. All right, Young Ra. This is a spiritual mission I'm gonna send you on. After this live session, or tomorrow, as soon as you can, I want you to look here on YouTube for The Law of One. And it is a series of videos by a dude named ThErApY. And he is going to be explaining a channel work that came from Ra in the 70s that is really the basis of my spiritual perspective. Sasine, how you doing? Bye. Yo. Earthshaker, 9 Avatar. What's up with you? Jeremy K. Phyllis. I know you feel this. Look, I hit my vape back. Hey, young Ra, it's all love. I do not live in Texas, though. I'm from Texas, but I don't live in Texas, bro. I try to avoid Texas at all costs. Bye. Yo, we got it going late night from the hotel, motel, the Holiday Inn. Yo, that's my type of speed. Did y'all miss me? Mark David Meyer, how you doing? What's cracking with you? Y'all, just let that vibe seep in. And if you haven't smiled yet today, this is my personal invitation for you to do so. Like right now. I mean, like right now. And if you can't find a smile for yourself, please, just allow me to be the smile on your face. Because at the end of the day, all I am is the smile on your face. All I am is the motherfucking vibe. I don't know nothing about it. This is just my natural mode of operation. But I will say this. What's funny about what you're saying right there, Phyllis, is before I ever wanted to be an astrologer, what I wanted to be was a late night DJ. I wanted to have my own late night show where I played nothing but slow jams and, you know, played nothing but that late night type hype. And like that's what I wanted to do more than anything else my whole life. I ended up doing what I do now, and I'm grateful for the spiritual path I'm on. But what's crazy is that's actually what I wanted to do. Because my Uncle Tyrone was a DJ at the radio station, and he had his own little show at night. And there was just something about those late night radio shows where they're playing the slow jams and where it's the dude in the middle of the night where it's like, man, his energy is the only thing keeping some people going. And so that was something that really kind of spoke to my Pisces moon in a multitude of ways. You're exactly right, Earthshaker 9 Avatar. It's that third shift groove. You know what I'm saying? That graveyard shift. See, we in the 8th house right now. Divine fortunes. We getting into those 8th house activities. And let's go ahead and talk about what we got going on cosmically, all right? So first of all, we got the sun. The sun is at 14 degrees of Aquarius right now. And as I've been telling y'all over and over and over again, the thing to remember about the sun being in Aquarius is it's not about you. Yes, you are uniquely gifted and talented, but you are trying, or supposed to be trying, to use those unique gifts to make a better world for all of us. And so, with the sun in Aquarius, it's not about what you can do for you, it's about what we can do for us. Remember that. Now, as far as aspects go, things can get interesting today and for the next few days, really, because we have the sun square to Uranus and sextile to Chiron. And so when I see the sun square to Uranus, what that does for me is kind of represents a potential conflict between stubborn individuality and the demands of consensus thinking. And so it's like, man, are you going to be stuck in your ways? Or are you going to be willing to look past your own ass to see what's best for all of us? That's the thing with that. And then with it being sextile to Chiron, you kind of just got to look at the fact that right there is going to represent the potential to become aware of areas of our life that need healing. But when you see that sextile between Aries and Aquarius, once again, that's like this. If you want the world to be a better place, then it starts with you being a better person. See, the sextile between Aries and Aquarius is also really, really, really reflective of that sextile that I always see between Neptune and Pluto. Because that sextile between Neptune and Pluto represents the process of change. And the process of change between those right there, that kind of has to be represented by that starting with the individual changing themselves. Because if an individual is working on themselves and trying to better themselves, and each individual is doing that, then that is going to represent a better collective. And so when you see this with Aquarius and Aries, you see if the world needs to be a better place for all of us, it starts with you being a better person. And you being a better person starts with you holding yourself accountable for situations and activities and behaviors that you partake in. Even for the stuff that you allow. And so if you do want things to get better with your life, then what you're going to have to do is, once again, work on being a better person. Because a lot of the times, it's not the situations, it's your outlook. See, there's this thing with my little sister, as I've told y'all before, where she comes sometimes and she's like, bro, you are so full of joy, and I don't understand, my life is like this and this and this and this and this. And her life is no harder than my life. The fact of the matter is, I want to be joyous. That is my natural mode of operation. Like, for that right there, I can smile at my difficulties. Yeah, I get stressed out, and yeah, I have these moments like everybody, but overall, I'm going to smile on an everyday basis. Overall, I'm going to be somebody that kind of doesn't let things just knock me off my path. That's not how I operate. So for me, I am a joyous person. I don't have to look for activities outwardly to make me have fun, or I don't have to look at for substances to induce a feeling of goodness or oneness with something that's good or divine with me. No, I have a divine part of me that always stays joyous and always stays grateful. And so even when I was in prison, and even when life is bad, and life is bad for me right now, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. There are external situations that are firing on me from all cylinders, but I stay joyous because those challenges just represent opportunities for me to rise to those challenges, and me rising to those challenges represent opportunities for me to grow. And me growing just means I become more powerful. And then I also understand that I signed up for this, whatever this is. And so when you see that sextile between the sun in Aquarius and Chiron in Aries, that's just, hey, if the world is going to be a better place and we're going to work on things for all of us, it starts with you working on things for you, you know. And a lot of times the people that you screw around with, like us here, that can help you be more willing to look at some of your own behaviors and be more willing to work on things and try to go in a more progressive direction. Now, let's talk about the moon. And see, the at this moment, I think right now, at 17 degrees of Cancer. And for me personally, that's interesting because that's like exactly conjunct my midheaven. But, and here I am working with y'all. And really with the moon at 17 degrees of Cancer, this is the moon being at home. This is you really feeling your feelings and processing them in the most healthy way possible. People say, well, what about it being exalted in Taurus? Well, that's not what Taurus does. The moon being exalted in Taurus means that is a certain calmness that gives you a certain sense of safety and comfortability. The moon being at home in Cancer is the natural expression of it. And the natural expressions of the moon in Cancer is going to be changing emotions and you expressing those in whatever way is most healthy or most open to you. And so with this right here, you know, this is just people feeling the feelings. People feeling the feelings, man. And, you know, the moon is opposite to Mercury, which is in Capricorn, and sextile to Uranus in Taurus, which that's interesting in itself because when you see the moon opposite to Mercury and it be the moon being in Cancer and Mercury being in Capricorn, that's going to be exactly how it sounds. What that represents right there is a conflict between emotions and logic because the mind is going in one direction and the feelings are going in another. Simply. And that you're going to have to look at the house placement for you individually and see how that's playing out for you. Like for me personally, I'm not able to be at my crib right now. And I'm having to take care of some business, and so I'm away from my family. And so I miss them so much, but that's kind of where it is. I'm here working with y'all, but my feelings are somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And this right here is actually giving me that appropriate balance. Because I know that my lady and my family at home can catch this, and then that we all get a taste of that energy that we share together through this. And me being able to have this, to be able to touch base with y'all kind of gives me that balancing point. Especially when it being exactly conjunct my midheaven and NiTe and all that shit. You know what I mean? And also conjunct my Mars too. Because my Mars is in Capricorn at 21 degrees. So it's coming into that conjunction with my Mars at the same time. And we'll talk about that another time because this ain't about me. But yeah, the moon being opposite to Mercury and the moon being in Cancer, Mercury being in Capricorn, that just represents that potential conflict between our emotions and our logic. And you can't ignore either one. So you have to find a way to incorporate. And the good thing is Capricorn and Cancer are actually really good at working together. Out of all of the opposite or sister signs, however you want to address it, or all of those signs on axes, Cancer and Capricorn are probably the easiest going when it comes to them working out together. And so, hold on, y'all. My bad. What else we got? The moon being sextile to Uranus in Taurus. The moon in Cancer being sextile to Uranus in Taurus. Well, that right there is really actually going to be a certain cooperation between emotions and insight. But what that also could be is representing that slight potential for some emotional instability right now, for whatever reason, going on this evening. And so, erratic behavior is definitely possible, but an emotional awakening of sorts is kind of also possible too, And so, with this right here, you're gonna either through a process or a situation that you encounter or something you feel, this could give you an opportunity to try to kind of gain an interesting insight on something and maybe help you move you in a direction really quick progressively, because you were able to identify this emotion that you had and see where it came from, and then through processing that, it really was able to bring you into a new place. So that's something to think about. Now, Mercury right now is at 19 degrees of Capricorn. And with Mercury in Capricorn, man, this is just a realistic mindset. This is a rational mindset. This is your logic working in one of its highest forms. Now, unfortunately for some people, when your logic is working in its highest form, your imagination isn't always in its most heightened state. And for some people, that can be depressive. Now, as I've been telling y'all, for other people, when Mercury is in Capricorn, what it allows people to do is know the rules of the game. And for some people, knowing the rules of the game just like, I can't do that. Damn, I can't do that. Damn, I can't do that. But for other people, to know the confines and the rules of the game allows them to play properly. And when they're able to play properly, they are able to strategize, and they're able to put their pieces in place where they can actually have an advantageous position. So with this right here, hey, as long as you're keeping it real with yourself and keeping it real with yourself, you're not stressing yourself out or getting depressed, then hey, this is where you can be efficient. This is where you can really come up with solutions to things, because you are seeing your mind work systematically. All right. And what else we got? Venus. Venus is at 8 degrees of Pisces. And that's interesting because my moon is at 8 degrees of Pisces in my 5th house. And so I got Venus exactly conjunct my moon. And what's crazy is I've seen my support system come out and in full force and really support me in the last few days. And for the people that have been here for me that, I really didn't expect, I want to say thank you. And for the people that I did expect, like, man, like, having somebody care about you is cool. That's one thing. But having a true support system, that's everything. And y'all here on this channel and a lot of the people, whether it be from my Facebook group or whether it be from this platform or whether it be friends that I have, like, y'all have really, 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 really supported me, whether it be through the thing that I have going on personally that I'd rather not speak on now, or whether it be everything that I have going on with my sister. Like, man, I'm so grateful. But with Venus at 8 degrees of Pisces, that's just unconditional love, man. But unconditional love can also look like delusion to a lot of people. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. Or maybe with Venus in Pisces, it's because they love with the soul. And that's why Venus is exalted in Pisces. All that other bullshit doesn't matter. It's because they love with the soul. What's up, Aries ascending? And Bernard, how you doing? But yeah, Venus in Pisces is the way that it is because, you know, it's about the soul. But this Venus in Pisces in particular that we're experiencing today just so happens to be square to Mars. And this is Venus in Pisces square to Mars in Gemini. So, you know, people's love nature is definitely going to be charged, or, you know, at least highly more sensitized, if that's a word. Is sensitized a word? I don't know tonight. It's late. Or the sensitivity is going to be heightened. Let's just say it like that. And, you know, people's love nature is going to be charged up. But the problem with that is this is Pisces and Gemini, and this is a square. So somebody's probably going to end up playing the fool. Like when you see that square between Pisces and Gemini, and you see it be represented whether it was, you know, Venus and Mercury, or Venus and Neptune, or Venus and Mars, what that is going to really represent is somebody in the equation is ultimately going to probably end up playing the fool. You know, them two right there will have you going in circles. Kenny Pooh, what's cracking? Now, where else are we at, man? Let's talk about Mars. Because Mars is still in Gemini. Man, I'm so ready for Mars to get out of Gemini, y'all. But Mars right now is at 10 degrees of Gemini. And with Mars in Gemini and Mars spending so much time here, you know, it gets restless with it being Gemini. And when Gemini gets restless, Gemini can get chaotic. So once again, you're just going to have to stay on top of this energy, because if you don't stay on top of this energy, it's going to get away from you. If you do not stay on top of this Mars and Gemini energy, then you get clumsy, you get sloppy, you make mistakes, you get distracted easily, and then that transports out into all kinds of little bitty problems, and sometimes big problems. Because if you're in traffic and you get distracted, or, you know, you're trying to get paperwork done and you're not taking care of that efficiently, you could end up taking some type of loss, or even getting yourself into some type of difficulty legally. And so that's something that you definitely need to pay attention to. Like, paying attention to what you're doing is of the utmost importance right now. Mars has spent too long in Gemini, and this energy is going to get more and more chaotic. And what's crazy is Mars falls in Cancer, so that's not going to be much more reprieve, but it will definitely be, for now, a welcome change of pace from this Gemini energy, because this energy right here has been all over the place. All over the place. And so Mars is also sextile to Chiron. And so when you see Mars in Gemini sextile to Chiron in Aries right there, what that's going to do is kind of show the potential for us to fuck up. It's going to show the potential for us to fuck up, or really the potential for some people to take some type of action that causes us to be more conscious. And thus, through being more conscious, we're going to be able to hold ourselves accountable. And through holding ourselves accountable, there's definitely that potential for healing and valuable lessons learned and things that just bring us into a more powerful position within ourselves. And with this being Gemini and Aries, I would also say a conversation. This could be something that could be not only just initiated by an action, but that action could be a conversation or an argument. But something with that right there in that sextile just gives us the opportunities to take a look at ourselves. And then able to take a look at ourselves, we might be able to see why we act like that. And then being able to see why we act like that, then we'll be able to address that behavior. And through that, we will also be able to kind of teach other people how they cannot go through that. So Chiron is always a gift that keeps on giving. But with this being Mars being sextile to Chiron, this does represent some type of action or some type of aggression that represents you having to look at things and take a look at your own behaviors. And for those of us that are willing to do so spiritually, the payments are infinite. And then let me turn it down a little bit. No, that's fine. But Jupiter is now at 6 degrees of Aries. And when Jupiter is in Aries, the blessings come from taking action. The blessings come from being assertive. Wherever you have 6 degrees of Aries in your chart, that is an area of your life that right now, whatever you have going on, you need to be addressing it head on. And if you're addressing those things head on, you will come out victorious. The universe is on your side. But if you're pussyfooting, if you're ignoring your stuff, if you're trying to run away from it, then all it's gonna do is present more difficulties for you and blow up the conflicts that you already have going on. See, Jupiter also blows up whatever it comes in contact with, and it doesn't know any limits. And so when you see Jupiter in Aries, then the conflicts that we have are definitely going to get blown more out of proportion also. Now, how you address those and how you yourself kind of come into taking care of that is going to be everything here. That doesn't mean move foolishly and recklessly. It means you need to move assertively. And you said, what if it's your Jupiter return in your 8th house? I mean, that could mean a lot of different things. It could mean a lot of different things. I mean, that's the 8th house. So if you get to a point where you might go through some type of crisis here and you be blessed through it, through the actions that you take and through your courage to take action, because Aries is also going to represent courage. And so through you being courageous enough to take action, or you being able to let your impulses push you, that could really help you come into a blessed position with that. But I mean, to be honest with you, with Jupiter and Aries in the 8th house, you're going to have to be extra careful that you're not being recklessly dangerous. And you definitely have a guardian angel on your side, but because Jupiter is in Aries in your 8th house, like that is one of those positions where, like, ooh, you got to be careful. Like, you're gonna have to be extra careful that you're not putting yourself in any type of danger, and I mean like physical danger. Now, Cynthia Renee, you said you have Aries 7th house and you definitely feel conflict in your relationships and partnerships. Well, I have Aries in 6th and 7th house, and I'm feeling it from both directions. And it's not from my relationship really. It's more or less like the 7th house kind of represents enemies and what else, like legalities and things like that. Like, so all that shit is really on my nerves right now. The 7th house is partnerships. It's, in some people's instances, they would say marriage, even though some would try to put that intimate bond in the 8th, but I do not agree with that. But it's definitely legal stuff, the 7th house. The 7th house is your personal business partnerships. It's your one-on-one connections with people. So there's a lot of that, but with Jupiter here, man, like, you cannot avoid stuff, because when you avoid stuff, the conflict just gets blown up. And if you do have the courage to address things assertively, then once again, you're probably, and I would say 9 times out of 10, maybe 95 times out of 100, gonna be blessed because Jupiter is here helping you through. Now, Saturn is at 26 degrees of Aquarius, all right? And with Saturn in Aquarius, no matter what the degree, what this comes down to is the changing times bring up some fears for people, whether it be conscious or semi-conscious or subconscious or unconscious, that cause people to limit themselves or cause people to have a closed mind. And there's also things going on that make people want to be more selfish than usual. Like they would rather not help people because they're worried about self-preservation. Like, hold on, times are hard. This is going on. I don't know if I can help you right now. I have, and then in other instances, like what you have is like, because times are changing, people are getting more restrictive, and people are being more prejudiced, and people are being more making more labels, and people are just instead of us becoming more free as people, what we're doing is people are using freedom as a label to try to put people in positions that you know are really binding. So yeah. And then and when I say binding, I mean binding by labels. And if you're here and you haven't hit the like button, you need to hit the like button right now before I get mad and go home. Now, what else we got? Uranus. Uranus is at 14 degrees of Taurus. And man, what that is right there is things are going to be shaky on the economic front. Like, you are not going to be able to get stable. And instead of trying to be stable or not even stable, you might be able to get stable right now, but stability is going to change for everybody. The concept of stability. But even more than being stable, you're not going to be able to get comfortable right now. That's a better word. That's better wording. With Uranus and Taurus, because of the situation and because of the shaky financial atmosphere, it's going to be hard for a lot of people to feel comfortable. And the thing is, you don't need to feel comfortable, because comfortability can also be complacency for some people. And so this is the time right here where you see people's ways of making money, and you see people's views of money, and you see people's value systems, even that are separate from money. We're talking about their personal spiritual value systems also drastically changing because of the way that the world is. And also with Uranus and Taurus, like, plain and simple is, economically, the world is really, really unstable right now. Whether it be because of wars, pandemics, whether it be because of trade embargoes supposedly expiring, whether it be because of ships getting caught in canals, whatever it is, it has caused things to be really unstable economically. And that right there has caused a lot of people's situation to change. So really, you have to address your own situation, because ultimately your situation is probably a lot different than it was, but it could also be a lot better than it was for some people. I know mine is financially. I'm in a lot better spot than I was, just 3 or 4 years ago. And so things have played out for me in a different way. What's up, Divine Goddess, by the way, and Diamond Henry? I know I answered your question, but I didn't address you. And Lakim, Ra, House of Intuition. Don't fuck with me. Hey. We on that late night hype. Now what? Neptune. Neptune is at 23 degrees of Pisces. And when it comes to Neptune being at 23 degrees of Pisces, you can't get confused by the culture. That's the problem. You can't be confused by everyone's differing perception of reality. You can't be confused by the fact that our realities now have several layers to it. Not only ones that we have created ourselves, but other ones that, you know, the government themselves have admitted that, you know, us ourselves don't even understand. And so we are this reality that we all kind of were stuck to. And then when social media came, there's this other reality, and each social media platform is its own reality. And then beyond that, you have each one of the individual presentations that everyone is presenting. But what's crazy is we have all this going on, and at the same time, as I've told y'all, and as even the CIA has already admitted with the paperwork that has been released, they say that the reality that is we have all considered a base reality is also just an energy hologram, or it is projected in itself. And so you have all of these different fabrics and layers to something that can be incredibly confusing. And then you have this culture where spirituality and the understanding of all of that has become a fad. So people are aware of this situation, but nobody cares. Everybody's too busy carving out their own little reality, because that's what's fair and that's what's right, and that's cool, but that's a part of it. When the fact of the matter is, you have to find the place in yourself that doesn't get confused by external things or doesn't get confused by bullshit, because there is a divine part of you that knows and feels and senses and touches, and it goes beyond the fabric of the bullshit. And that's the only way to have discernment. And that's the true lesson of Neptune and Pisces. Is with Neptune and Pisces, you have all of this bullshit, but you know the truth. And you can't escape it because it's inside of you. Now, Champagne Wishes, how you doing? What else we got? We got Pluto. Pluto, 28 degrees of Capricorn. And man, as I've told y'all a million times, the only thing that comes after 28 degrees of Capricorn is 29 degrees of Capricorn. So times are hard, man. And so with times being the way that they are, you're going to have to economize your efforts. That means if something ain't working for you, you're going to have to let that shit go. Whether it be a people, places, things, habits, all of that stress, all of that. If it doesn't serve you, then you got to let it go right now, because it's weighing you down, and you cannot afford to be weighed down. Like, times are tough. You got to only take what you need. You got to only take what you need. And it also shows with Pluto and Capricorn that the way things are structured are changing. And there's also this thing where, you know, we're having a struggle with authority. People are having a struggle with authority. The authority is trying to tighten up its grip, which that doesn't do nothing but make people want to push back more. So as things get worse, as they start to rescind, which they have, understand the government has rescinded, and this also goes with Uranus and Taurus also, where that kind of goes hand in hand, where the government has rescinded all of the what are the things called, the orders that the president signed into place here in the United States as far as COVID-19. And so there were a lot of government programs. There were increases in food stamps. There were help with utilities. There was, you know, of course, unemployment that got cut off years ago already. There was a lot of stuff that was signed into place because of COVID. Well, President Biden has decided that he wants to end all of those programs. And so a lot of people, like I was telling y'all last time, they're getting their food stamps cut. Like they're getting a drastic change in whatever the help they were receiving from the government. And for some people that's not going to affect them, but for other people that's incredibly devastating. But the fact of the matter is, there is a thing where you would have had to try to understand that you can't trust that ever, and you couldn't depend on something that was supposed to be temporary. And so once things die down, like that's the way it is. So you should have took care of your stuff, and if you couldn't take care of your stuff then, you need to take care of it now. It's a part of being mature and taking care of your responsibilities, which is what Capricorn is about. So if you're taking care of your responsibilities and you're being mature and you're keeping it basic, then you're going to be able to make it and you're going to be fine, and you might even come out better through this. What's up? And but on the other end of that, what you also have is some people are going to stress themselves out and they're going to end up going backwards, and they're going to end up messing up and making things harder on themselves. That's the other end of Capricorn. And Pluto right there is going to say, hey, man, you're going to have to make changes. Things are changing. And with this, it being Capricorn, that means things are getting tighter and harder. Now, ultimately, what happens in a few months or next month there, and then next year, is people get tired of that shit. And there is a sense of rebellion, because there is a tremendous change of pace and mindset when Pluto gets to Aquarius. So when you look at what's going on right now, whether it be the financial situation, whether it be the fact that police are thugs. You can say what you want about street cats, but the police are the gang members. Whether you look at the fact that you cannot trust the government whatsoever. And then when you really understand beyond not being able to trust them, the reason that you can't trust them is they're not really in charge. Most of the people that you see and get an eye on are just figureheads. And so with all of that bullshit right there, that represents a mistrust. That mistrust slowly builds up this feeling of unrest. That feeling of unrest kind of brings about this next 20 years where people are like, hey, we're tired of that shit. Where things are different radically. So that's something to think about. Chiron, as I've been telling y'all, is at 12 degrees of Aries. Chiron being at 12 degrees of Aries just basically boils down to the fact that you have to hold yourself accountable for your life and your situation and your growth. It doesn't matter if you started the problem, it can end with you. And even if you don't feel like you are the problem, then maybe you need to stop allowing it. Either way, with Chiron and Aries, you have to hold yourself accountable for whatever's going on in your life. And in doing so, then you'll be able to be courageous enough to take actions towards healing. So awareness, accountability, and then action. Repeat after me. Awareness, accountability, and then action. That's how you heal with Chiron and Aries. Now, the Black Moon Lilith is at 2 degrees of Leo, and that's ego. That's what that is. That's ego, that's drama, it's exaggerations, it's stubbornness, it's foolish pride. Not just regular pride, I'm talking foolish pride. Like all of that bullshit. And then, what else? with Lilith and Leo, what you really see more than anything else is what y'all like to call toxic masculinity. Machismo. Like, bro, chill the fuck out. But yeah, definitely. And then the nodes. The nodes are at 8 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio, respectively. So, first of all, with the North Node in Taurus, that's just the universe telling you to chill out. Calm down. Value the life that you have. Because on the other end of that is death, danger. That's what's on the other end of that, is death and danger. I've seen it. And then Venus is in Pisces, forming a sextile with the North Node and the trine with the South Node. So that right there lets me know, you better, if you fuck around with any type of substance, y'all, besides natural substances, you got to be careful right now. You got to be careful right now. That's what that tells me. And I mean, I've seen it play out. I've lost family members myself through this. So, but you have to be, man, you got to be strong. So, with the sextile between Venus and the North Node, that just means choose your values. What do you value more? Choose. See, the sextile represents a choice. The trine is a natural flowing of energies. So, with Venus in Pisces trine to your South Node, or not your South Node, or trine to the South Node in Scorpio, then that right there is, hey, man, the easiest thing in the world to do is get high. That's the easy, you feel things so deeply and that shit is so intense, the easiest thing in the world to do is to get high. That's your natural response. But you could also choose to value your life more. There's the choice. That's sextile. You can choose to do something different. You can choose through Taurus to chill the fuck out and enjoy the life that you have. Because at the very least, Scorpio is going to make it more complicated. At the very worst, it's going to kill you. So that's something to think about. And I think that's all I have to say about the transits, y'all. So what we're going to do now is open the floor up for like, I'm going to open the floor up for like 40 more minutes and then I got to go. So we're going to be here for 40 more minutes and then we out. And so if y'all have any questions about your chart or anything else you have going on, I'm going to be here to help you out in any way that I can for the next 40, 45 minutes. So let's talk about it. Hold up. I don't really know what's going on the 15th. Let's look.
Hey, who the fuck is Danny 1 of 1?
Let me see what's going on the 15th. I'm only looking because it's your birthday. Other than that, I would never look up for nobody. So, I don't know about the aspects going on your birthday, but it's a day. Sun in Aquarius, Moon in Sagittarius, Mercury in Aquarius, Venus still in Pisces, Mars still in Gemini, Jupiter still in Aries, and yeah. But the thing that's most significant is the Moon will be in Sagittarius that day. Ezekiel Torres, you said, do I have any insight on Saturn square the North Node? Your fears hold you back from your growth? Yeah, that's what that means. Saturn square the North Node is, you know, your own fears, whether it, once again, be conscious or subconscious, really, really getting in the way of your true growth. So don't hold yourself back. And if your Saturn is in Aquarius and you're going through your Saturn return, you can't have a closed mind about life. And you're gonna have to be able to be willing to ask for help and also, you know, be willing to give help. But with Saturn square to the North Node, it's your own fears that are stopping you from growing as much as you could, or your own self-restrictions. Yeah. What does solar moon in Scorpio mean? I don't know anything about a solar moon. Solar means sun. Anything involving the moon is lunar. Sun combusts Mars in the 6th. You have a lot of energy. Probably you're a health oriented. You probably are a health oriented person too, in some way, form, or fashion. That's what that would say. You work faster and harder than everybody else. You can crack a whip. What are the indicators of past life, life karma in astrology? Your south node and your north node. That's the people are gonna say your 12th house this. I mean, you can look in your 12th house, and that might, for some people, that might be reflective of certain stuff, but that you need to look at that the north and the south node for that type of stuff. I appreciate the love, Ezekiel. ER, you said Mars and Venus in Cancer. Shit. Your emotions kind of run everything, and because you're so emotional, the way that you feel about certain things, or your desires, or even your anger, doesn't really come to the surface directly. So you are a more passive aggressive person, but other than that, you're a family oriented person. You're very protective, and with Mars and Venus in in Cancer, pardon me, that's just going to represent you being somebody who's family oriented. And so that really gives you a really awesome perspective. Lamp Diva, what's cracking? Yeah, you caught us up on the late night hype. What all do I explain in the natal chart reading? Everything. It's a full reading. You got to send me an email and get one. Get one while I'm having a sale right now. Well, when on those solar returns, that sets the tone for the year. I don't really put a lot of stock in solar return charts, Miss Bliss. So, I mean, when you talk about your solar moon being in this, as far as your solar return, if that's what you meant, then that would mean that that's kind of the tone emotionally that's set for the year for you overall. But I would never put. Pardon me. I would never put too much stock in that, because your emotions are always changing. That's the nature of emotions. Phyllis, He said it's 11:11 there in Cali. Cali love, what's cracking? Now, Phyllis, you asked, your North Node is in Sagittarius in your 7th house. May I have some, maybe you have some insight on that. Thanks. Yeah, I gave you insight on that a million times, Phyllis. You're somebody who always kind of thinks the grass is greener on the other side. You're thinking the next relationship is gonna be the best relationship, kind of. But you also want somebody wise and spiritual on the other end of that. You want somebody that you can connect with that seems like the truth to you. And so there is that. It's 2:11 in the Bronx. Ezekiel Torres, you say your solar return was with Lilith opposite your Mars. Bet that was fun. A little itching right there. All right. It's all love. It's all love. Hey, just the darkness. Phyllis says she's a hopeless romantic. Emphasis on the hopeless. Do I take Zelle or Venmo? I absolutely do take Venmo. Yes, I take Venmo. Like a motherfucker. Let me look at. I'll type my Venmo in right here, or I'll send it to you. Send me an email and I'll send you my Venmo. I'll send you my price list in the Venmo. Glam Diva, my email is mr.turner1300@gmail.com. Shoot. Get that to me. Get that to me. Phyllis, you said, but it seems like you can't find the right man. You said, well, it's one you're interested in. He's a Virgo, but you're not sure if he sees you the way that you see him. Shoot your shot, Phyllis. Shoot your shot, Phyllis. Put that thing on there, man, Phyllis. Ezekiel Torres, you said, what can I say about the North Node conjunct Pluto in the 7th house? That you're going to have some really intense relationships because you're destined to have some really intense relationships. But, you know, through those relationships present you with a mirror through which you can see stuff that you need to work on within yourself. And so you're always going to be involved in karmic relationships with that. But those karmic relationships that you're involved in, it's really less about the relationship and more about your own personal growth. And then so, Cynthia Renee, you said, what can I say about Pisces South Node in the 6th house? And also, Taurus Saturn trine your Pisces North Node. Taurus is sextile to Pisces, not trine. And I'm trying to think, is there anything around Taurus that could be trine? No, there's nothing around Taurus that could be trine to Pisces. So, Taurus is sextile to Pisces. Now, what would I say about a Pisces South Node in the 6th house? What's that? Put Virgo in the 12th house? That's people that took their health for granted. They might not have had the most healthy habits. They had loose habits with Pisces there. And so in this new life, or in this life right here, with the Virgo North Node in the 12th house, that right there is gonna be about taking care of yourself, and also about, through taking care of yourself, that helps you be of best service to other people. But when I see that Pisces in the 6th house, that will kind of represent a person's habits being kind of loose in a previous life, and that kind of transported out into this life. And so also with the Taurus Saturn sextile to a Pisces North Node, that's just, for me, that's calm. That's a certain calming energy, like that Taurus Saturn, getting money and being stable will help that person calm down, and helping that person calm down, that will help them kind of get more into their creativity with Pisces, and get more into their spiritual, and when I say spiritual stuff, I don't mean faith like with Jupiter. With Pisces, I mean more like more into their gifts, their empathy, and their intuition, and their abilities that have transcended just this physical life right now. It's all gravy. But yeah, with a Pisces South Node, that will first of all tell me that you're probably destined to work in some capacity of service in this life, but you're also highly critical of yourself. And, in you being so critical of yourself, it can make you not be able to, function as efficiently as you could have, because you're spending so much time criticizing yourself. But there's also a thing with that Pisces South Node where, like I said, you have certain habits that you've built up that aren't necessarily always the healthiest of habits. So that's definitely, yeah. Oh, Saturn trine Virgo North Node. I've been sitting here answering that question the whole time and didn't even see you correct it. It just popped up right here. My bad. So Saturn trine your Virgo North Node. I thought you were asking about placements for two different people. It's all gravy. Wallflower, how you doing, by the way? But with Saturn trine Saturn and Taurus trine your Virgo North Node in your 12th house, you would make a lot of money. That would mean that you would make the most money in some capacity of service, like some type of service industry, or that could mean you working in some way like that's helping people but isolated. There's also that, or medical field. Like you could really kind of put yourself in a more stable place in life by having that type of career, as far as all of that right there. Wallflower, you said Pisces North Node in the 8th house. I mean, you're destined to be a witch. No. I always say that to people when I see Pisces in the 8th house for them. Like, oh man, you're destined to be known to all things. But yeah, though, seriously though, the Pisces North Node in the 8th house is your psychic gifts and your intuition and your abilities are really gonna be something that is gonna be huge. You coming into those and trusting those in this life, because with Virgo in the 2nd house, you don't really trust anything beyond what you can see, and so you've always been a very rational person that was about money, and you've tried to keep it realistic with yourself. So in this life, you're getting in touch with everything that is beyond the physical. And so you're destined to come into the occult, and to come into things that are unexplainable, and to come into things that are going to make you more aware that there is more than what the eye can see. And then what else we got? Ezekiel, you said Saturn is coming to your Mercury. And you have Mercury conjunct Saturn by 4 degrees. You're heading towards this. What do I have to say about that? That means you could be depressed, really. Not as much as Saturn with your moon, because I'm kind of experiencing Saturn, starting to experience Saturn with my moon. But with Saturn coming in conjunct to your Mercury, that's doubts, and you know that's attitude, and that's also you kind of you with Saturn. Like I would just say that you kind of depressing yourself, or you being a little bit more serious, and that giving the potential for depression. So that's something to look at. Definitely. We got 15 more minutes and I'm gone, y'all. I'm sleepy. 15 more minutes and I'm out. And then I'll be back tomorrow night. I'll be back again tomorrow night. I'm coming late night again tomorrow. Young Ross said his birthday is January 22nd, 1997. To get your life path, thank you for the love, Miss Bless. And you said, anyway, your birthday is January 22nd, 1997. To get your life path, do I still add the 2 to 2 together or leave the 22 because it's a master number? You leave the 22 because it's a master number. So it's going to be 1, and then a 22, and then a 1997. So you're going to leave the 1, you leave the 22, and then as far as the 1997, you're going to go, what is that? That's a 10 plus a 9. Well, that's really a 10 plus a 16, so that's 26, so that's an 8. So 1 plus 22 plus 8. So 1 plus 22 is 23, plus 8 is 31, so you're a 4, right? And I could be wrong because it's late night, but I'm that might be right. So 1, 22. Plus 8. So 9. Yeah. You a 4? You are a 4. Yep. And that speaks to that Capricorn Aquarius energy. Really, I would say 5 is closer to Aquarius energy. But if you could put the numerological numbers to certain energies. But I would say that 4 is really close to Capricorn. 12th house, Chiron in Scorpio. You have dark thoughts and feelings that get the best of you. You've experienced some things that really have caused you to have some fears and maybe even abuses. You might have been abused, but whatever that, like, it's made you kind of shady and manipulative on the cool because you don't trust nobody else. And so when you can start to trust yourself more, then you'll start being the way that you are. That's the thing with Chiron in Scorpio, the 12th house. Like you have some certain manipulative ways, and you have some things that you do because you don't trust anybody. And you don't trust anybody because your own trust has been violated time and time again throughout your life. And so with that right there, when you can learn to trust yourself more, then you'll trust your judgment more, which will help you kind of not have that stuff going on that you had going on. Yeah. Sunny Moon, you said, what can you do to help your North Node return in Aries? I don't know. My North Node is going to be probably before years in Aries, and I myself ain't looking forward to it. My North Node is at 27 degrees of Aries, so mine's going to be quick. I don't like to give predictions on nodal returns because that's a very karmic period, and it depends on where you're at. And I'm not looking forward to mine because I'm not looking forward to it. That Aries 7th house energy is a motherfucker, man. That means I'm going to have to deal with something karmic either in my relationship or legally. And that's not something that sounds very appealing either way. Not in the slightest. You might travel. Having Aries in the 9th and your North Node, you might end up traveling right here. But you have, and it's just going to be an impulse. And that's going to help you come more into spiritual stuff. Like, that's great. But the 7th house is something else. Venus conjunct your midheaven. People like you. Like that's what people want to see you win. With Venus conjunct to your midheaven, people like you. People want to see you win. People are rooting for you, and people are going to help you out, especially other women. Miss Bless, you said, what's your life path number? Okay, so 10 plus 16 is 26 again. 26 plus 7 is 33. Plus 4 is 37. You're a 1. Aries, you're a 1. Miss Blessed, you're a 1. A uno. Y'all try to make me do my Rain Man shit in the middle of the night. 10, 25, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 35. Now I keep kicking the camera. Do we? Are you an Aries rising? And that might be what it is, fam. But we got 10 more minutes and then I'm gone, y'all. So if you have any more questions, let's get it out of the way. I'll be back tomorrow night. Cynthia Renee, you said, what would Mars conjunct Venus? Would Mars conjunct Venus affect the midheaven? Yes, but it wouldn't work. Not in a bad way. It just make you more ambitious. Mars loves the midheaven. It's probably the favorite place to be for Mars. Mars being in the midheaven means that it has an ambition, it has drive, it has a goal, it has everything it needs to do what Mars wants to do. So most definitely. Do I know anything about Chiron conjunct the moon in 5th house Virgo? I absolutely do, bud. Chiron conjunct the moon in the 5th house in Virgo means that you have a hard time loosening up. Like you're uptight. Like you have a hard time having fun, bro. And the problem is you're too analytical, critical, and technical. That's the problem. And so you have a hard time loosening up. And you think people are judging you. And it's because you be judging other people. So when you feel and find out why you are the way that you are, which is not something I can tell you. That's something that with Chiron you have to find out for yourself. Once you get to that point, then you start growing from there. Awareness is always the key. Always. So, yeah. You said with Taurus going into Jupiter, what would that mean if you have Taurus in the 10th house with your sun in midheaven? It could mean luck. It could mean you might come up on some money. It could mean a lot of stuff. That might just be a raise. If you already have a career or a job, that might be you making more money or you getting some type of raise and that helping your confidence at the same time. Like a lot of that is all tied together with that right there. And then what you just I thought you were asking a question about Chiron going into your 10th house. Hey, so don't forget I'm still having the special right now on the readings. And that means get at me and I'll shoot you the new price list for the special that I'm having. At Mr.Turner1300@gmail.com. Now, Glam Diva, you said Chiron conjunct your sun and Venus in Aries. You haven't been the same since Chiron been in Aries. Man, like it's just opportunities for you to grow more. It's just giving you chances to be aware of the way that you move and why you move like that, and that helps you kind of get in a better position spiritually. So, you know, it's all about a matter of perspective, as I was saying earlier. And then Miss Bless, you said Saturn in your 5th house made things challenging growing up and still at times now. I guarantee it does. I know, because it's hard to not take everything so fucking seriously with that. So that is a struggle in itself, all the way around. all of that. So, if y'all don't have any more questions, I think I'm going to end that for tonight. I missed y'all, so I was just going to come for a little bit tonight. I will be back tomorrow night for some late night hype too. So y'all be looking for me. So I appreciate all y'all's love and support. If y'all are interested in any astrological readings whatsoever, do not get at me in my comments. Instead, get at me in my email, which is mr.turner1300@gmail.com. And I'm having a special right now. So this is the time to get at me while them prices are low, if that's what your problem is. All right? So mess with me. And I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate the support system that y'all give me. I appreciate the grounding point that y'all give me, knowing that, hey, I can't fuck up because y'all are here. And so, hey, man, I thank y'all for everything, and I'm out.